Hi there and welcome to a new episode of Z Zone. This time we have 10 amazing horror movies that I grew up with. Start off with a diplomat grieving the loss of his newborn child makes a fateful decision to adopt a replacement infant in secret. What appears to be a salvation soon reveals itself as something deeply unnatural. As the child grows, a trail of inexplicable deaths and disturbing animal behavior begins to surround him. Investigation slowly reveals a terrifying truth. The child may not be merely unfortunate, but something far more sinister in origin. We have The Omen. This film is creepy and is a part of those great horror movies that set the tone in the 70s. Supernatural powers and just really creepy and gets under your skin. That's what The Omen does to you. A silent, expressionless figure escapes confinement after years of institutionalizations. Returning to his hometown, he begins a methodical and inexplicable pursuit of a group of teenagers. There is no motive, no dialogue, only presence, always watching from the shadows. As night falls, suburban normality collapses into a suffocating sense of doom and fatalism. We have Halloween. This was the first slasher movie. A lot of copies came afterwards. What makes this film so scary is what you think is going to happen is not happening. Jamie Lee Curtis, excellent performance. Halloween. An isolated teenage girl oppressed by a fanatically religious household and social cruelty begins to experience the emerge of extraordinary internal power. A rare moment of kindness offers her a glimpse of belonging, culminating in a celebration that briefly transforms her reality. However, accumulated humiliation and emotional repression ultimately trigger an uncontrollable and catastrophic release of power. We have Carrie. Carrie is a movie that it's kind of, they had it coming. That's the feeling. Be kind. Don't bully. It's gonna bite you in the end. So I feel for her. Kind of great. Carrie. A shy teenager acquires an old, seemingly abandoned car. As restoration progresses, so too does his transformation in confidence and personality. Yet the vehicle reveals an unnerving autonomy, possessing jealously intent and a destructive will of his own. Relationships deteriorate as the bond between the boy and the machine becomes dangerously symbiotic. Christine from 1983. John Carpenter was a big name during my teenage period, and this was just another classic horror movie by him that I grew up with. Great picture. In a seemingly ordinary suburban home, subtle disturbances begin to manifest. Objects move without explanation, and communication emerge through electronic interference. What begins as a curiosity soon escalates into violent supernatural intrusion, culminating in the abduction of a child into an unseen dimension beyond comprehension. We have Poltergeist from 1982. And I remember I thought it was technically well done at the time, starting off minimalistic, and the successively escalating makes it extra creepy. And to be honest, today I think that poltergeist and this kind of things happening and UAPs, UFOs should be studied together. I think they have something to do with each other. We'll see. But just a hint. Poltergeist. A remote summer camp reopens following a history of unexplained tragedy. A group of young caretakers arrives unaware that they're being observed. One by one, they fall victim of an unseen presence lurking within the surrounding wilderness. As panic spreads, the isolation itself becomes an instrument of terror. We have Friday the 13th, a classic from the early 80s that was a part of the slash genre, and they got hugely inspired by Halloween, and they came up with their own date, Friday 13th. The Creed family moves to a quiet town where a mysterious Indian burial ground behind their house promises resurrection. After their beloved cat church dies, grief drives them to test the ground's power. But what returns isn't the same. You don't bring something back without something coming with it. We have The Pet Sematary from 1989. Comes with some nice pictures from the movie. And we have church, of course. And Ramones wrote the main song, The Pet Sematary, and you can find it on this album. On the eve of the centennial celebration in the quiet coastal town of Antonio Bay, strange phenomena begin to shatter normal life. Inanimate objects move on their own, radius glitch, and a mysterious glowing fog approaches from the sea. Inside that fog lurks something ancient and vengeful. We have The Fog. There's something with the big oceans and all the stories that comes with it. The Flying Dutchman, etc. And the classic move to make big fires to fool the ships believing it's a lighthouse. Just fired back this time. The Fog. A quiet suburban home becomes the center of escalating paranormal activity. Whispering voices, physical disturbances, and emotional terror gradually consume a family sense of reality. The haunting intensifies into violent manifestations, revealing a dark historical presence embedded within the house itself. We have the Amityville Horror. The Amityville Horror is rooted in a real and deeply tragic event. In November 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered 6 members of his family inside the house at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York. 1 year later, the Lutz family moved into the house and reported experiencing disturbing paranormal phenomena, including strange voices, freezing rooms, swarms of flies, terrifying nightmares, and sinister manifestations. After only 28 days, the family fled the property. Their experiences inspired the 1977 book The Amityville Horror, which later became the basis for the iconic 1979 film adaptation. As a result, the Amityville house became one of the most infamous locations in horror history, permanently associated with both true crime and supernatural mythology. How many times have you compared houses to the Amityville house, especially the windows, when you're out watching the environment? This story gets you under your skin, no doubt. This is one of those films that isn't just watched, it's survived. When 12-year-old Regan McNeil, Linda Blair, becomes possessed by a demon, her mother, Ellen Burstyn, turns to priests, Father Karras, Jason Miller, and Father Merrin, Max von Sydow, for a desperate exorcism. A true horror landmark that still haunts audiences today. The Exorcist. The original had a huge impact on me, and I still think it's one of the best horror movies ever made. 4 years later, Regan seems normal, but darkness lingers. Father Lamont investigates mystical connections, hypnosis and visions of a psychic boy in Africa. Surreal, confusing and ambitious, the film fuses horror with metaphysical mystery. Exorcist, the Heretic. Years after the original possession, a copycat killer terrorizes Georgetown. Detective Kinderman, George C. Scott, uncovers links to past horrors, while a shadowy spiritual force lurks behind the murders. Intelligent, tense, and atmospheric, it returns the franchise to psychological terror with a chilling twist. A classic, The Exorcist 3 from 1990.